Hello, everyone. It's Oklahoma Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell coming to you with another episode of our look at Oklahoma CareerTech. Just following great Oklahomans around the state that are working for, that have gone through one of our amazing Oklahoma CareerTech centers. There are multiple paths to a great career. And Oklahoma CareerTech could be exactly what you are looking for. And we got a great guest today. We have Jason Parker. He's a graduate of the aircraft mechanic program at Southwest Tech Center. Currently works at the Altus Air Force Base. We're very thankful to have that Air Force Base here in Oklahoma. And is an evening aviation instructor at Southwest Tech, which I'm really interested in getting into. So, Jason, thanks for being here, man.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
I was actually born and raised in Panhandle, Texas, Borger, Texas, and joined the Army from there. Left for several years, and then came back to find my high school sweetheart, and ended up marrying her, and we moved to Oklahoma.
Well, thank you for, again, your service to our country, first off. We try to make Oklahoma the best place for our veterans. We want it to be when veterans retire or out of the service, we want them to come home and go back into the workforce. And certainly you are a great product of that. So thank you for your service.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
So how did you first hear about Southwest Tech Center? Again, you kind of went away, you grew up in the Panhandle of Texas, married your high school sweetheart, came to Oklahoma. But how did you hear about Southwest Tech?
Through a buddy of mine that actually taught out here. I was the typical, I guess, had a hard time separating from the military, and had struggled greatly to figure out how to survive as a civilian, being away from the military.
Yeah.
I went through several jobs and nothing would click. I just couldn't figure out how to function as a civilian. So he reached out to me and told me about this program. And when he said that I would be actually working for the military as a civilian for the Department of Defense and working hand to hand with the military, active duty, reservist, Air Force, I jumped at the opportunity.
And about how old were you during that exploration process?
So that was 2014.
Okay.
So I would have been in my 30s.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just, again, we love those kind of stories. Again, veterans, they come home, they're trying to figure out where in the country they're going to live.
Just don't fit in anywhere.
Right. And I mean, that's a very powerful story. So what interested you in the aircraft mechanics program? And again, was that the tie to the Air Force Base?
That was the sole reason. I actually had no idea what I would be doing. He said, working hand to hand with the military. My brain shut off after that and didn't listen to anything else.
Yeah. And I mean, when you were in the military, I mean, were those skills that you were using?
They were not. I was in the Army. I was actually a combat MOS in communications, and only ties I had with airplanes was when I stepped off the back of them with the parachute on my back. I had no idea. So the training was not there. It's just being a veteran. That's why I had to come to school. That was my only path to getting out there, was through this program.
Okay. So let's talk about that program. So what was your experience like in this program? We're trying to give, kids or working adults or veterans, for goodness sakes, kind of an idea of what that program was. What was your experience with it?
It's a challenging program. Nothing easy about it whatsoever, but there's very skilled instructors out here that will get you through it if you have the willingness to and the strive to succeed and put the work in. It's not going to be handed to you. It's tough, but it's very definitely doable.
Yeah. And how long did the program take?
So if you go full time, it's almost not quite 2 years.
Yep.
Another avenue is part time during the day, which of course will take you a little over 2 years to get that. And the evening program is even shorter, so it's a little bit longer. It's built for the ones that have a full time job and families and can only afford to do it, or had the time to do it part time.
Gotcha. And did you go full time?
I went full time. Yes, I did, with the support of my family, because of course I couldn't work and do full time. But yes, full time.
So the aircraft mechanic. So what kind of things are you learning in that aircraft mechanic program?
The program itself is through the FAA, Federal Aircraft Administration, so it's not really tied to the military. This is just a path you can take, and they have a what's called a grow your own program through the Altus Air Force Base, which this is an avenue to getting that job. But it is, like I said, it's strictly through the FAA program and is governed and structured by the FAA.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. And again, you are learning to repair aircraft.
So there's three stages. You go through general program, which is a lot of math, statistics, and stuff like that, kind of a baseline.
Yep.
The next phase is what's called airframe, and you will learn about the structure of the aircraft, what makes the aircraft fly, what you got to do to make sure that aircraft flies. And then the third phase is power plant, where you learn the engines and those systems.
Excellent. Okay. And that whole process, about 2 years.
If you go full time, yes.
If you go full time.
A little shy of 2 years.
Excellent. Yes, and when you walked away with that certificate, you could walk right on to, again, that Air Force Base, or if it wasn't the Air Force Base, you could take that certificate and walk into a maintenance repair facility and go to work.
It's through the Grow Your Own program with the base. You can go work on civilian aircraft, small aircraft. They call them general aircraft. Even amusement parks, working on the roller coasters use A&P mechanics. The windmills you see throughout Oklahoma and Texas, yes, they use A&P mechanics. So there's several avenues. NASA, SpaceX.
Elon.
Yes. They use. We have had a couple of students leave here and go to work for SpaceX.
Wow, very impressive. Yes. So let's talk about that career again. You kind of told us about the process of getting the certificate. Took about 2 years. Went immediately onto the base. What do you do at Altus Air Force Base? What's kind of the day-to-day look like?
So after you leave the program and go to work for Altus, you start out as a grow your own mechanic. You still got to go out there and learn. You've learned this side of the house. Then you got to go out there and learn the Air Force side of the house.
Yep.
As a aircraft crew chief for either the KC-46, C-17s, or the 135s. And so I went through that phase of it and wasn't really satisfied. I have a trouble when I get stagnant. I get bored. So I left a crew chief and went the avionics side of the house. So what I like about that is I don't like repetition. I don't want to go to work and not know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I do better under stress.
Yeah.
That's probably that military background.
Yeah.
But every day I don't know what's going to happen. I go out there, I get my assignments. These are the jets that are broke. Go fix them, and I'll do whatever I need to get them up and going again.
That's great. So every day is kind of different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's no rinse and repeat.
And do you work with a number of people out there that went through this same program at the tech center?
They either are grow your own mechanics or they are retired Air Force, and they did this job in the Air Force, and they're continuing their careers civilian side.
Gotcha. Okay. How did you first get hired at the Air Force Base? Was that a conversation you were having when you were at the CareerTech?
So the representatives from the Air Force Base will come out at different times throughout your training program, and they will, kind of guide you if that's what path you want to take. Because you still, once you get the certificate and you have that card from the FAA, that does not necessarily mean that you will be picked and you are guaranteed a job. That's never guaranteed. You still have to go through the full application process. And then when you do get hired, you're still under 3 years of watching to see if you fit the bill or not. And then once you get past that 3 years, you have a career ahead of you.
Gotcha. Okay. Makes sense. So not only, did you graduate with a certificate, went straight to work over at the Air Force, so you were also now an evening instructor back at Southwest Tech Center. And again, Southwest Tech Center right there in Altus?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. Right there. So serving as an evening aviation instructor, how did you get that opportunity?
I got wind from some of the people that work at Southwest that they were considering that. And it's kind of funny. I was like, yeah, I'll come out and I'll do it until y'all can find someone that to take on the full role of it. And then actually the reward of being out here and being not only get to take care of the students in the classroom aspect, but also build them up and offer. And I know that's an opportunity to really strive to succeed and not get. It's a tough program, so you got to kind of keep their motivation built up as they're going through the program, and that way they keep their eye on the prize at the end of it.
Sure. So where do most of your students, find employment after they graduate?
I would say 75% of them do go either to Altus, and we had some going up to Tinker.
Well, and you mentioned one of your students there. Do you have any student success stories? You mentioned a couple that are at SpaceX. Any success stories you could mention?
Yeah, one of my students is kind of my I take him under my wing, but he's actually working at Walmart in the service department, and my supervisor at Southwest Tech was going there to get a tire fixed, and the guy was sitting there talking to him, and he mentioned the program to him. So we have another program. It's called the attendant program, which is kind of it's a shorter, I believe it's a 6-month program that they can go out there as an aircraft attendant and kind of be a service tech or catch and launch. And he did that and then came back in while doing that for the A&P program. And now he's a full-blown aircraft mechanic.
That's
WG-10.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you meet him at Walmart, make the pitch of why to join CareerTech, and now he's an A&P mechanic.
Yeah, and doing
awesome.
Fantastic. Yeah, he's
awesome.
a great mechanic.
Yeah, that's really good. Jason, what would be, again, you obviously you've made the pitch to kids of why they should be in CareerTech, but what's the pitch? If there's a kid looking at CareerTech, what would you say to them why they should be interested in the Oklahoma CareerTech program?
So for Southwest Oklahoma, we're kind of out here in the kind of rural area. In Altus, you have the base, you have the hospital, and you have Bar S. So without this, it's a Monday through Friday job. You're making fantastic pay. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. I mean, not just to pay the benefits for you and your family, full-blown medical, dental, a retirement package, a TSP package. You do 20 years, you come out here. You can come out here as a junior and get through the first part-time junior, part-time senior, do the 13th year, graduate 1 year out of high school, and you're making well above minimum wage.
You were absolutely singing the praises of a CareerTech in the right way. I mean, that's exactly what we're looking for. So, Jason, thanks for joining us today. Thank you again for you served our country. You had our back. You came back to Oklahoma. Now you were setting the Oklahoma standard, and I really mean that. So
thank you very much.
Thank you for what you do at the base, which again, we're making that Altus Air Force Base BRAC proof. It's not going anywhere.
Fantastic.
Can't thank you enough for giving back to these kids too in Southwest Oklahoma. So thank you very much.